One-person companies have been printing billions of dollars off mobile apps. The bad news is, up until now, they've been really hard to build. The good news is, I'm going to show you the easiest way ever to build them using Claude Code and Claude Opus 4.5, the greatest coding model of all time. I'm going to show you how absolutely anyone can build, launch, and ship their own iOS app using Claude Code, even if you've never written a line of code in your entire life. This is going to be the most important video you watch for a while. Let's get into it. So two apps you're going to need to follow along with me here. One is Xcode, which is a free app you can download from the Mac App Store. Go download it now. It's completely free. Make sure to choose iOS when you're installing it. The second app you're going to need is Claude Code. So this is the Claude desktop app. You can download it now. It has Claude Code built in, and this is what we're going to be using for much of the building. I'll have links to both these down below, so feel free to download, get them installed now, and then you can follow along with me here. First step to building amazing iOS apps with Claude Code, which is the best coding tool on planet Earth, is to go into Xcode, click on iOS right here. Then once you're in Xcode, you're going to want to click Create New Project. Then from there, click iOS at the top and then App. Next, we're going to give it a name. Today, we're going to be building a habit tracking app. I like to build apps like this because they're apps that you can not only build and learn from, but also use in your day-to-day life. So we're going to call this Habit Tracker iOS. You'll even be able to ship this afterwards if you want. Put it in the App Store and start making a couple bucks if you want. So we're going to call this Habit Tracker iOS. We just need to give this an organization identifier. I'm going to call it Alex. We're going to hit Next. And then we just need to create a new folder for our project. So I'm going to go into Documents here, do New Folder, and then Habit Tracker. So just make that new folder right there and then create it. Boom, there we go. What's going to happen after that is Xcode is going to create all the files we need for an iOS project. That is all good to go. The next step is we're going to go into Claude Code and we're going to start building this app out. Xcode is basically the skeleton of what we're going to do here, right? It's building the project and it's going to allow us to test it. Claude Code's going to be the brain. It's what's going to write all the code, build the project out, because Claude Code's the greatest app ever for vibe coding. And it's going to make it super easy to build this app. So we pull open the new Claude Code for desktop app, which is one of my favorite ways to use Claude Code ever. We're going to make sure we select our folder. So we're going to open up that folder we just created inside of Xcode, and we're just going to select that first folder here inside, and we're going to click Open. And now we are inside. Now we can start building our app. So let's do this. Make sure Opus 4.5 is selected because that's the greatest coding AI model of all time. And let's start building this out. I'm going to show you how to build out the core functionality. Then I'm going to get into adding more advanced functionality. And then I'm going to go over how you would ship this to the App Store. So the key to using Claude Code well is giving specific but simple instructions, right? We don't want to do too much all at once. We don't want to one-shot the entire world. We just give simple but specific instructions. So here we go. Very simple prompt. You are in an iOS app we just created. I want to build a habit tracker app. Users should be able to enter a new habit, then click a checkbox to say they completed it. Next, that will be their current streak for days in a row, and I'm going to hit send on that. And there we go. It gets straight to work. It is now going to build our app. So because this is running in the folder we just created in Xcode, it's going to know what it is. It's going to know it's a Swift app, which Swift is the technology behind iOS apps. And it's going to get ahead building our iOS app. In a second, I'm going to show you how to actually test all of this out inside of Xcode. So you can actually see an entire iPhone simulator inside Xcode to test this. But let's get V1 of this app done first. I'll just tell you this as it's working. It's been a couple weeks now since Opus 4.5 launched, and this is the most mind-blowing leap in AI, I think, so far since AI started. The ability for Opus to build apps, pretty much do it flawlessly and do it to a really advanced, intelligent level has seriously blown my mind since launch. This is going to allow so many people to do stuff like this, build iOS apps out quickly, put them on the App Store, and start making money and building their own businesses. If you haven't done what I'm showing you here yet, you need to make sure you follow through on all the instructions I give you and actually launch your first app, because this is such a huge opportunity right now because of Opus 4.5. What I love about Claude Code, as always, always builds a to-do list, goes through the to-dos, checks them off as it's building, and in a second, it's going to have all the to-dos done, and we can test it out in Xcode. All right, looks like it is done, and while you don't need to read this entire thing because it's very technical, I always recommend you do, just so you kind of start to get an understanding how all this works. So let's go back to Xcode now. So I'm going to click on Xcode here, and what you can see is, one, all the new files were placed right in here since we're working out of the exact same folder. But two, you can see over here on the right, the demo of the app that we're building live. So you can see it says habits, no habits, tap plus to add your first habit. So let's try that out. I click the plus. We can add a new habit. We can type right in here. So I like to meditate. So let's add that habit, add. And then boom, it has the new habit there, as well as a checkbox and the current streak we're on. So let's check that off. And boom, just like that, we are now on a streak of habits. We are going to add way more to this app. Then I'm going to go over how to actually ship this to the App Store. But just take a second here if this is your first time ever building a mobile app, and appreciate the fact that in about 30, 40 seconds, you just built an entire iOS app by typing in a sentence. Literally 2 years ago, if you wanted to build this, you would have to read a Swift textbook, spend an entire week coding, and even then probably have to fix 100,000 bugs. But thanks to the magic of AI and Claude Code, you could now build an entire app in just a few seconds with one sentence. So just wanted to pause there, but let's keep adding new things here. Let's think about how we can add more here. One of my favorite things to do in this new Claude Code for desktop app is take advantage of the fact that it has the chat bot built in. So if I open this sidebar and then we click on this chat bubble right there, we're now in the chat. So I can do this. I can close this sidebar and I can start to get advice on what features we can add next. I highly recommend you use this workflow when building out any app at all, but for sure, iOS apps. So let's send a quick prompt to the chat to get an idea for the next feature we can add in. So here's the prompt I did. I'm building an iOS app for habit tracking. Right now, you have the ability to add a habit, check it off, and see your daily streak. What are other cool high retention and engagement features we can add? This is my favorite thing to do when using Claude Code, especially Claude Code for desktop, because it's so easily accessible. This chat feature is we're basically making this our Copilot CEO, and we're saying, hey, what other things can we add to this habit tracker? Opus 4.5 is so good at coming up with other features. So here we go. Accountability partners, that's a pretty good idea. Anonymous habit buddies, gamifications. Let's do some gamifications. Weekly, monthly, perfect week badges. Ooh, I like that. So getting badges for all the habits. Ooh, here we go. XP system that levels up and unlocks themes, icons, or app features. I like this. I'm a gamer. I like earning XP. Let's implement an XP system into our app. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up our sidebar again, go back into the code section of Claude Code, go into our chat for the app we're building here. We'll close this again. And now let's add more features. So again, we'll just keep telling it exactly what we want to build. So here's the prompts we're going to use. And I'll put all the prompts down below and all the links and everything you need. I want to add XP features. For every habit a user does, they should earn XP points. When they check off a habit, an XP fireworks animation happens and it shows their XP at the top. Every 100 XP gains them a level. They start off at level 1. If anyone here is not a gamer, XP is just experience points. They're points you gain for doing different things, and they level you up and give you a sense of achievement. Right now, I'm absolutely addicted to a game called Arc Raiders, where I'm leveling up like crazy. It makes you want to play a lot. So let's add this in. If you're building your own iOS app now, I would highly recommend figuring out different ways to gamify your experience. It's really going to increase their retention and engagement, so your users use your app a ton. Implementing XP and levels are a fantastic way to do this. It basically turns your app into like a game experience, which is awesome. So let's hit send on this. And now it's going to get to work on our new XP feature, which we'll be able to test out in just like a minute here. With these iOS apps, people go in and out so quick, uninstall, install. It's all about engagement and retention when it comes to these apps. How long can you keep them using your app? How often can you keep them coming back? If they come back often, you have a lot higher of a chance to get them to do payments, subscribe. or any other monetizable action. So it is really important to focus on adding features that increase retention and keep them coming back on a regular basis. So let's see, in that little spiel, it already finished 2 of the 5 checkboxes. So create the user progress model, update the app entry point. And listen, some of this might come off as really technical. Do you need to understand every technical detail? No, but quickly reading it, kind of getting a high level gist of what's going on here will really go far in helping you improve your prompting and your instructions to the AI. So definitely make sure you go through and just read everything it's doing. As this is building, I've been shipping a ton of web apps. I have yet to ship an iOS app, but this Claude Code with Opus 4.5 has really pushed me to start shipping iOS apps. I've shipped successful web apps. I've yet to ship a successful mobile app, but I think that's going to happen pretty soon because of these new capabilities we have. And I hope you take this challenge with me. If you're taking this challenge with me, make sure to reply down below, I'm building with you or something like that, so I can check in with you later and see who's actually building these iOS apps with me. All right, looks like it added the XP and leveling system. Here's what we implemented. Added all these new features, how it works. Each habit completion awards 10 XP. Progress bar fills up, and then you get higher levels every 100 XP. Let's go in here. Ooh, look at that new interface. So you can see your level, you can see your XP bar. Let's add a habit. We're going to say exercise. I'm going to add. Let's see what happens when I check it off. Boom! Plus 10 XP with the little fireworks. That was nice. That was cool. And you can see the XP bar filling up. I mean, we've been doing this for what, a minute and a half now. We have a pretty good habit tracker. We're going to add a lot more here, but it is still, again, take a second to appreciate how amazing this is, what we're doing. By the way, if you learned anything at all so far, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on notifications. All I do is create amazing videos about AI. I also launched a Vibe Coding Academy, has a full Claude Code masterclass in that, and weekly calls with me. Check that out, link down below. Let's keep adding new features here though. I think it would be cool, I think it had it on the last screen when we were chatting, to add kind of a mood tracker where every day we can put in our mood, so we can track our mood with all our habits. So let's do this. I want to add a mood tracker where every day we can enter our mood in. What are a few different ideas you have for implementing this system? So this is another thing you really should be doing as well. You should be using Claude as a partner, a creative partner, just as much as you use it as a developer, right? You don't have to only just give it commands and prompts to do and things to do. You can also ask it questions right here in the chat and say, hey, how would you do this? How would you change this? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? So before we implement this mood tracking system, I'm just going to say, what are a few different ideas you have for implementing this? And I promise you it's going to give us at least one idea that we haven't thought of that's going to be really, really cool. So do this as much as you can. Even after every step, you might want to do this, where you just ask it, what do you think of this? How would you do this differently? How do other apps do this? Here we go. So here are a few different approaches for a mood tracker. Simple emoji picker. This is what I was thinking, where you can click an emoji every day to see what your mood is. Mood and notes journal, same emoji, but with an optional text field. I like that. I didn't think of that adding, like you can also add an optional journal. I think I kind of like that. Let's go with that one. So let's do that. So we can go in, my recommendation, start with option 1. We're going to go option 2. I like the idea of option 2 with the note tracker as well. Let's do that. And I'm going to hit enter, and boom, just like that, the AI helped us come up with a brand new idea for how we could implement that feature. If we didn't bounce off the AI, it probably would have been a much more boring way of implementing. But because we talked to the AI, we had an awesome way of implementing that feature. Again, as much as you can, bounce ideas off the AI. The AI is much smarter than us, especially Opus 4.5. Maybe not as smart as you, but definitely smarter than me. So you want to make sure you bounce ideas as much as you can. All right, just like that, that was one of the quickest updates ever. Looks like it implemented a new mood tracker component. That looks good. Updated files. All right, let's see. Features. Tap to log today's mood with 1 of 5 emojis. Add optional notes. And then the history shows all your past entries. That's sick. Let's see what we got here. All right, so, oh, look at this. There's a new mood section down here. If I click that, ooh, it uses the liquid glass. Look at that, the brand new liquid glass. A little controversial, liquid glass. I think I like it. I think it's cool. Makes my phone and computer smoking hot and the battery about 10% of what normally is. But liquid glass. All right, let's log today's mood. How are you feeling today? We have the 5 emojis. Look, doesn't this feel like a professional UI? Claude is so good. And then we have our notes, feeling great. Filmed a new video about iOS and Claude Code. Let's save that. Do I get XP points for that? No XP points for that, but that's fine. I don't need XP points for that. We can add that in. And then the habit, enter our mood. Let's make that a habit and make sure that still works there. Enter, boom, there we go. And then let's check it off. Do we get, yeah, okay, good. We get the XP. So that's looking good. It's always important to go back and test all your other functionality just in case adding a new feature breaks something else. Always go back and test all those things. Let's do this. Let's add one more feature. Then we'll go over database authorization, kind of high level how all that works. And then we'll talk about shipping this to the App Store. So I think we have a pretty decent app right here. I mean, this is something I'm going to use every day now. I'm going to put this on my phone and start using this. So let's go over a couple more things you need to know, as well as how to ship this to the App Store. So before we cover shipping to the App Store, just 3 real quick things that we're not going to cover in this video because it would be really boring, but you can use Claude to implement it. One is auth. So just ask Claude Code to implement authorization using the Apple sign-in. It'll very easily be able to implement that. Make sure you also implement database. I'd implement actually Supabase first because Supabase is going to be needed for the authorization. So implement Supabase as the database. This is my favorite database to use. You can just simply go to Claude Code and say, hey, I want to implement Supabase. If this is your first time ever doing that, say, this is my first time ever doing it. Please walk me through how to do it. And then monetization, you have to use Apple's payment system for monetization. It's how they take their tax. So say I need to implement payments. I want to do a subscription, whatever it is you want to do, and it will be able to implement that for you. Now let's talk about shipping to the App Store. So real quick, you want to make sure all your information in your app is filled out. So click on your parent folder right there. When you're in here, go in, look at the identity, make sure you have your category filled out. I'm going to say this is lifestyle. Give it a display name. We'll call it Habit Tracker Plus. Make sure there's a bundle identifier, a version, and a build. Make sure all of this looks good. You're going to want to give it an app icon. So make your own app icon. You can use Google Nano Banana for this. Nano Banana is a fantastic icon builder. You want to upload a launch screen file as well. That is super easy to do with Nano Banana to get generated. And by the way, you can also use Claude as a walkthrough to do everything I'm showing you here too, just in case you get lost in the future. Just say, hey, Claude, walk me through shipping this to the App Store. It'll tell you exactly how to do it. You will also want to add a signing team. So you go to team and add an account. This will require an Apple account with developer rights. There's a subscription you need to sign up for to be an Apple developer. You sign up for that, you add your Apple account that has that developer team in there. Once you do that, you only have one more step to do, which is going to your menu at the top, clicking Product, Archive, Organizer, Distribute App. That will give you a few last things you need to fill out. You hit submit and it will be under review to go to the App Store. This is very, very simple to do. Again, if you get lost as you go, you can just go to Claude or ChatGPT, whatever bot you're using. If you're using Claude Desktop, just use Claude and say, hey, I'm ready to ship my app. Walk me through step-by-step how to do it. It will make it super easy. That's the best part about AI. You don't need any sort of specialized knowledge anymore. You just ask the AI and you have infinite knowledge at your fingertips. I really do believe building iOS apps and mobile apps are such a massive opportunity now because of Claude Code, because it's become so easy for anyone to build mobile apps. Mobile apps are very simple user interfaces, so it's very quick for you to go build it and ship it. The ecosystem for people with iPhones is absolutely massive, so you can build and ship apps so quickly and start making money right away if other people want to buy the app. If you learned anything at all, make sure to leave a like. Let me know down in the replies if you're taking my challenge. I challenge you to build and ship your first iOS app. It's something I'm going to do. I'm going to take the challenge because I think it's such a big opportunity. I'm probably going to live stream this as I build the iOS app every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific. So tune in for that. Turn on notifications so you get alert on that. I also just launched the Vibe Coding Academy, full Claude Code masterclass and weekly calls with me. Link for that is down below as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.